What's your worst this is not happening to me moment? I answered my door in gym shorts on a random Tuesday afternoon in July, and 6 cops stood there. They said they got a noise complaint about domestic violence. I laughed and said, "You've got the wrong house, I live alone." One officer asked for my ID. My wallet was right by the door, so I grabbed it and handed over my license, thinking this would take 30 seconds. He looked at his partner, and said, "Can you step outside for a moment?" I walked out, still smiling. The second my foot hit the porch, the other officer grabbed my arm and said, "Turn around, hands behind your back." I said, "What for?" And he just repeated, "Turn around." Cold metal hit my wrists. They sat me down on my own front step, and I asked what this was about. "There's a warrant for your arrest from out of state." I've never even gotten a speeding ticket in my life, so I actually laughed again. "What kind of warrant?" He said he didn't know, just that it came from out of state, and there's a no bond clause, which means I'm not going anywhere until someone figures it out. They loaded me into the cruiser. All I had was gym shorts, flip-flops, and my phone, which they immediately took from me. I asked the officer driving what state the warrant was from. He said he couldn't tell me. 45 minutes later, I'm in a holding cell in Broward County Jail with 15 gang members. None of them said a word to me, but I felt every single one of them staring at my bare chest and flip-flops. At 11 that night, they moved me to a different facility, handed me a 2-inch mattress and a wool blanket that smelled like mold and cigarettes. I slept on concrete that first night. The next morning, I asked an officer what I'm being charged with. "Out-of-state warrant," he said. "You'll see a judge soon." I asked when soon was. He walked away without answering. Day 3. I asked a different officer if I could access my phone to call anyone. He said I'd need a court order for that. Day 4. I'm still wearing the same gym shorts. Day 5. Still no attorney. Still no phone call. I'm eating food that I wouldn't feed to a dog sleeping on a floor that's colder than the air, and I still don't know what I did wrong. Day 6. A guy in my block asked me what I'm in for, and I said I genuinely don't know. He looked at me like I was lying. Day 7. I asked another officer when I'd see a judge. "Tomorrow," he said. Day 8. I finally see a judge. I'm shackled at the ankles and wrists, walking into a courtroom in an orange jumpsuit that's 3 sizes too big. The judge looks at my file and says it's an out-of-state warrant, and I have 2 options. I can fight extradition and sit here minimum 60 days while they figure it out, or I can agree to extradition and maybe get transported in 45 days. Either way, I'm stuck here. I asked him what I'm accused of. He said he doesn't have that information in front of him. I asked for a court order to access my phone. He said he's never heard of needing a court order for that, but he signed it anyway just to move things along. Day 9, I show up at the desk with the court order. The officer looked at it and said, "The phone's dead, we can't charge it for you." I asked when I'd be able to use it. He said he didn't know. Day 12, my back is completely destroyed from sleeping on concrete. Day 15, I'm starting to panic because no one in the world knows where I am. My kids live in North Carolina, and I haven't spoken to them in over 2 weeks. They probably think I'm dead or worse. Day 18, an officer told me transportation is coming soon. I asked when. He said maybe next week, maybe longer. Day 20, I asked again. No update. Day 23, 2 officers from North Carolina show up at 6 in the morning. They shackle my hands and feet and load me into the back of a van. It's a 16-hour drive through 3 states. Around hour 6, I convinced one of the officers to log into Facebook and message my friend to get me a phone number. He does it. My friend replies saying this is obviously a scam and he's reporting the account. 48 hours later, we arrive at the intake facility in North Carolina. The officer at the desk pulls up my file, looks at it, looks at me and says, "This warrant was dismissed 4 years ago. Someone forgot to update the system." I stood there in shackles for 10 seconds, just staring at him. I lost 23 days of my life. I lost my job because I didn't show up. I lost my apartment because I couldn't pay rent. My kids thought I was dead, all because someone didn't click a button 4 years ago.